Hey everybody, I'm going to give you what you've been waiting for here. I'm going to give you the full guide to final expense telesales. So look, final expense telesales is hard, guys. It's hard. Everybody wants to learn how to sell final expense over the phone, but it's a challenge. I'll tell you right now, it is a challenge. I mean, there's a reason why most people don't do it, right? It's because it's a lot harder than selling face-to-face. Bottom line, it is. I'm going to give you guys a full walkthrough here on how to sell final expense over the phone. Stay tuned. I'm going to be giving you my script. I'm going to be giving you tips on how to find leads. I'm going to be giving you tips on how to handle chargebacks, what equipment to have, what CRMs to use, how to follow up with clients in final expense. This is literally going to be like probably the most comprehensive thing on how to sell final expense over the phone that exists on the internet right now. So please stay tuned. And that is not a fake statement. I'm going to give you guys everything that you need, literally everything that you need. It'll be here or in the description. If you find value in this, please like and subscribe to this and comment on it. It'll really, really help me promote the content to more people because I want to help as many people as I can with this. Selling final expense over the phone is very hard. There's a reason why people sell face-to-face. There's a reason why your IMO encourages people to sell face-to-face, because it's easier. Selling final expense face-to-face is easy. I don't care what anybody says. You sit in someone's house, you read them something. All you gotta do is like hand them a brochure, right? The hardest part is setting the appointments and driving there. That's it. Once you're there, it's easy. So you have to be a better salesperson to sell final expense over the phone. You have to be. You have to be more disciplined. You have to have the ability to truly separate yourself from your home environment as well while you're at home. Because it's hard. It really is hard, okay? So one, you gotta use a good script. First things first, you gotta have a good script. I'm gonna put a couple different scripts in the description of this video for telesales with Facebook leads and callback telemarketing leads. All right, but first I'm going to just do a little breakdown here. Your greeting and your script has to be engaging and it has to be assuming. Okay, you have to assume that the person did it. That has to be engaging, and you have to be calling them as if you're calling a friend. You have to have enthusiasm, excitement, because no one wants to talk about insurance. Think about this, right? Think about like a guru that you follow online or something that you purchase. It's something that you're into, okay? Like, for instance, if someone from, I play video games, right? If someone from Microsoft called me and was like, hey, we got this new thing for Xbox, I'd be like, damn, they're reaching out to me. This is pretty cool. Yeah, I'll try it. But if someone from like some no-name company starting a new video game console reach out to me, I'm probably not going to want to talk to them. I'm going to be like, hey, what are you calling me for? Like, I don't want your product. I'm going to tell them I'm not interested. Even though I love video games, and they probably have a cool product, but I don't know them, I don't know the company, and I don't know the products. They don't have a reputation built up with me. They don't have any rapport with me yet. There's no common ground, right? So you want to be understanding that there has to be common ground there with the client. So when you engage someone in the greeting, you have to be enthusiastic, you have to be excited, and you have to be energetic, and you have to sound like you're someone that they should want to talk to. Remember, what is the goal here? The goal is to get them to buy insurance, but for them to buy insurance, they have to want to talk to you in the beginning. So you got to be someone that they want to talk to, okay? You're going to have people have these fear-based objections in the beginning. Oh, I already have insurance, not interested. I don't care if they just completed the lead generation. They're going to be telling you that stuff. That's just what happens, okay? People get scared and they say things to people when they don't know people, right? You got to understand people for this. Final expense telesales is a much bigger psychological game than face-to-face final expense sales. So when someone gives you pushback in the beginning, which will happen, all you got to do is acquiesce, however you want to say it, meaning get on this, just bow down to them, get on the same ground as them. If they say, oh, I already have insurance, that's cool. Well, we all know that people should get more insurance. They can never have too much. So what you want to do, you want to let them know, I'm not here to get you to do anything today. Don't worry about it. Okay? You don't have to do anything today. I want to get you this information so that I can be a point of reference for you in the future. That's all. It's just a few minutes of your time. Is that fair enough for you? Right? You kind of want to sound almost like a wimp. Like you want to sound like someone that they have dominance over and that the client is controlling. You want to make them think that they're controlling it, okay? That they're in control. because they don't want to not feel in control. So remember, in the greeting, you want to sound enthusiastic, energetic, excited, and reassure the client that they are in control of the situation, because they truly are. They can hang up on you at any point. That's what makes telesales harder too than face-to-face. I keep saying final expense. Then face-to-face, right? Face-to-face, they can't just hang up on you. and it takes a little bit more to build that credibility. So trust me, in the beginning, you're going to run into some issues. I'm going to post a rebuttals page in the description as well. What this is, it's a website that I built that has a bunch of different buttons on it that has different things that the client will say to you. So not interested, already have insurance, don't have time, whatever. You click the button and some responses will come up, and then you can just use those and say which one comes best for you, comes easiest for you, okay? And then if you scroll down on that page, it also has some rebuttals for the close, which we'll get into later. So after you get through the greeting, remember, enthusiasm, energy, and excitement. If you're finding that you're getting a lot of people to answer, but you're not getting people through a presentation, it's because your greeting needs work. Okay, you need to get people to want to talk to you. You have to practice this, you have to role play it. Reach out to me. I'd love to practice and role play with you. 100%. I do this every day, all day with my agents. It would be as easy as you joining my Zoom call. That's all it would be. Join my Zoom call, we can role play for a few minutes. I'm totally cool with that. I would love that, to help you guys on that. Next is fact finding. We're moving from the greeting now to fact finding. Fact finding is where you establish, hey, what program do they qualify for? But more importantly, do they have a reason to buy? Do they have a buying motive, right? Are they the decision maker? Do they have an active checking or savings account? Okay, and you also want to use this to build a relationship with them. This is so crucial. This is why this comes so easy to me, because I can just build a relationship with any stranger. I've been doing it since I was a kid. I just love talking to people. I can just meet someone that I don't know, get them comfortable talking with me, and then they just start opening up. You guys can do it too. It's not like any secret. It's just a skill that you have to learn. So what you do is as you're asking them fact-finding questions, which you will see in the scripts that are in the description, okay, I'm posting my scripts in the description. I wrote those, and they work for me, myself, and my agents, not my agents, the agents that work with me. I hate saying that. So for instance, I'll give you an example of what I mean by using the information in the fact-finding to build a relationship. Or even in the information in the lead form. Say someone puts their favorite color, right? A lot of final expense leads will have favorite color or favorite hobby or favorite food as like the answer to a security question to help the client remember doing it. Whatever they say that is, ask them a question about it. And I always like to use comedy too. Comedy will win you so many more sales than it'll lose you. You get people to laugh, they're gonna wanna talk to you, right? So like for instance, if say someone says their favorite color is orange, right? Be like, was that just because Halloween was right before? Were you like carving a pumpkin or something? Okay? Comedy wins people over. And then and also too, this is huge in the fact finding, if someone says that they don't, like if they have a health issue, right? Because we have to ask what their health issues are. If someone said they have a health issue, do not make it about the insurance. Please do not make it about the insurance. Make it about them, okay? So if someone's like, I had a heart attack 3 years ago, I'll be like, oh, that's cool. Outside of 2 years, you get qualified for the best rates. No, they don't they don't care about that. They care about themselves first, right? So say, dang man, I'm so sorry. Like, how did you get through that? You know, what was the toughest part about you going through that? It's amazing I'm sitting here talking to you today, for real. You know, my friend, and then think about someone that you know, or a family member, or a loved one who may have had a similar health issue, and talk about how it impacted them. And hey, maybe I can connect you guys, right? Get on common ground with someone, be interested in what they're interested in. This is a skill. What I've found is you ask someone a question. This is kind of like the process of it. You ask someone a question, you relate to something that they said, either compare or contrast with it, and then you ask a follow-up question, okay? If you want to work on this, we can role play as well, and I can show you how this works in a Zoom call. I'm in Zoom literally all day helping my agents, so it would be as easy as you just pop it into the call. It can take 5-10 minutes and go over it with you. Next, you go through the presentation. So the presentation, excuse me, it's hot in my office in the morning. Presentation, when you present a final expense product, what you're doing is you're taking everything. This is in the script now. We went from greeting, fact finding, now we're in presentation. In the presentation part, you're going to be presenting the product to the client in a way that solves the problem that they want solved for them. Now, you don't want to use any complicated insurance words. because it may throw them off, right? If you say something they don't understand, they may just get foggy and feel insecure about the whole thing. So make sure that you're using common words in your presentation and that you're keeping it simple, okay? You don't have to get into like crazy detail, because at this point, from your fact finding and the rapport building and the relationship building part of it, they should kind of trust what you're saying. They should trust you as a professional. They should trust you and want to talk to you. So just give some brief, go over the features and benefits of the products. Like, is it a whole life? Is it a term? Is there a terminal illness benefit? How does that help them? Are there any nursing home benefits to it? Can they put accidental on it, right? Are there children's insurance agreements? Things like that. So just go over some of those features. Don't give everything away, because we're going to use those in the close if they give us a rebuttal to rebuild value on the product. But you obviously want to present the product so they know what they're getting, whole life, stuff like that. And then when you go for the close and you give I'd always do this. I give them 3 rates, so 3 different coverages amounts with the rates, and then ask them which of these best fit your needs. Hey, which of these best fit your needs? Some people like to say, which of these do you want to leave to, and then the name of the beneficiary. Okay, keep it about the benefit. Don't say which one can you afford. You do not want to say that, because then they're going to be thinking about money and they're going to freak out. So ask which of these benefits best fit your needs. Be ready for a response. Make sure they write down the quotes too. That's huge. You got to make sure that they write them down. Okay, give them time to do that. Have them grab pen and paper. So they may, and ask them which benefit best fits their needs. Now they may come back with a rebuttal. An objection. They're probably going to come back with an objection. Okay, you want to handle this with a loop. Okay, Jordan Belfort talks about it a lot. The second someone gives you an objection, you say, hey, I hear what you're saying, but let me ask you this. Does this sound like a good idea? Do you like the idea of a life insurance policy for your, whatever the beneficiary is? Yes, you'll see. It's in one of my scripts. It's a loop. You kind of, what you do is you ask them if they like the product, and as long as they say yeah in some way, shape, or form, you present a couple features again. So you kind of go over some of the features you covered in the presentation again to kind of build up value in the product a little bit more. And then you ask them, hey, if I was your beneficiary and I recommend to do this, you'd probably be doing it, right? And 99% of the time they say, yeah, I probably would. And you say, great, now that I can understand, we don't have a relationship like that, yada, yada, yada. Let me introduce myself. You go over who you are and kind of how you service your clients. And then you go in for the close again, and you ask for a sale on a smaller amount of coverage. So like the lowest amount that you quoted them. And then if they still get pushback, then you can use my rebuttals page to go in and kind of hammer in on the objection and really try to get them to do it, and you can push. Now, you don't want to push people to where they hate you, but I would ask for the sale 4 or 5 times. Then at that point, you're going to have to follow up. Final expense, there's going to be a lot of follow-up, okay? Face-to-face, you guys may not follow up as much. I mean, when I did face-to-face, I didn't really follow up with someone who didn't buy. It was like they knew I was coming over for insurance and they didn't buy. Usually it was like a financial thing, and I could tell by where they lived that they weren't buying. But final expense follow-up is huge in FE telesales, okay? When you're buying leads, because if you buy leads 1 week, right, you may not get a sale on some of those leads for 3 or 4 weeks down the road because of follow-up. You're going to want to call the leads a bunch of times. You want to call each lead like 2 or 3 times a day, okay? I would send them text messages if it's compliant to send them text messages. But once you get in touch with someone, you want to follow up creatively with them with text messages, phone calls, voicemails, video messages. Don't be afraid to mail people things. When I started in Final Expense Telesales, I got so much response from mailing people things. That was a huge successful action I had. Probably wasn't compliant, but I would mail people paper applications and they would fill them out and mail them back to me. They'd be like, yeah, I'm not giving you my checking account over the phone, but I'll mail you an application with my social and my check, a blank check. I was like, okay, whatever. So I mailed it to them with a return envelope and they mail stuff back to me, okay? So don't be afraid to be creative and think outside the box and do things that most agents simply won't do. Follow-up is key. In Final Expense Telesales, if you're buying leads and working in telesales and you're not following up enough, you are leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table, if not 6 figures or more. I mean, it'll add up to being hundreds of thousands of dollars. You have to follow up with people, okay? Look for reasons to follow up instead of not follow up. What I would do is have a piece of paper, okay? You want a piece of paper and you have a list of names. I like getting 8.5 by 14 inch paper because you can write more. You want to have a list of names that you follow up with, some notes. You want to have them in your CRM as appointments, but I would also have a hot list. I'm going to get into what CRMs to use in a second, but I would also have a hot list to use. A hot list is just a piece of paper that has a list of names and numbers and what they're interested in and maybe why they didn't buy, things like that. Okay, so you want to have a list of those names and explain in little tiny explanation of why they didn't buy and what you got to do to follow up. How can you convert that client into a sale? But you want to follow up. Follow up is huge in final expense telesales. Call every day. So what I mean is you get someone, you talk to someone on the phone, they're like, hey, I'm busy, I'm at work. Follow up with that person. Call them later on, text them later on, text them the next day, call them the next day, call them the day after that, text them the day after that, call, text the day after that, send them a video message, mail them something, okay? Like, be creative, be consistent. Busy people buy, busy people pay their bills consistently, okay? So follow up is key in this game. Follow-up is key in this game. Like, I would literally have a list of people and go through every day. Hey, who am I following up with today? Because I've already spoken with those people. Those people are closer to being in a sale than the people I haven't talked to yet. Okay, so someone says they're busy. Like, you get through a whole presentation, they can't find their bank account information. If they have no insurance and no real reason to not get insurance. But they can't make a decision, they're just giving you some like BS objection, you can't tell what the real objection is, you want to follow up with those people. If they say, hey, this is great, but I don't make the decisions, I got to talk to XYZ person first, follow up with them, because chances are they're never going to talk to that person about it, and then if you follow up with them enough, they're just going to do it, okay? You know that you can sell them the best, so this is another thing, when someone says, oh, I'm shopping around. If you're like, hey, dude, you qualify for this day one program, and they're like, no, listen, this Gerber's got a great policy. It's like, dude, that's a guaranteed acceptance program. Like, this is a better deal. And they're like, oh, I love that company. I like the baby. It's really cute. You're like, okay, well, I'm going to follow up. So you want to follow up with someone like that because you know that you're going to be doing the best thing for them, okay? If they can't find a reason to not get insurance, or if they can't find a reason to get insurance, so like if there's no real dominant buying motive, right? Hey, you make a good enough friend, you'll be the beneficiary. But follow up with someone. All I'm saying is follow up with these people as you are going through the sales process, because they, like in telesales, we're calling people out of the blue, right? They're kind of just at home, like, or they could be out and about, like they're not expecting our call. When you go face to face, set an appointment, they know you're coming to sell them insurance. Like, they're not stupid. You're not going there to just like, yeah, here's the piece of paper and read it and I'm leaving. No. They know you're an insurance agent, they know you sell insurance, they know you make a commission, and they know that you're there to sell them a policy, and they're inviting you into their house. When you call someone on the phone, it's random, it's out of the blue. They don't know who you are. Maybe they were expecting a call, they probably forgot about doing the lead, or at least they're gonna say they forgot about it, or give you some pushback. So, hey, like, you may have to nurture this person and convert them with follow-up, okay? Also, if they say they have enough insurance, but you know that they don't, right? That's a good reason to follow up. If they have a policy that's like way inferior to something that you can offer them, that's a great reason to follow up. Maybe they're grouchy, maybe you call them and they're pissed off and grouchy or irritable. That's another great reason to follow them, because other people aren't going to want to talk to them. So if someone answers the phone and yells at you, just be nice to them and follow up with them, because chances are something happened that day that like threw them off. Most people are not just mean all the time. So follow up with them, I promise. You can always call back and be like, hey, did I do something to upset you? Did I do something to get you mad at me? Because I'm sorry if I did, okay? There are a few reasons that you wouldn't follow up though. I'm gonna go over these here. So if you quote someone and you get down to like $40 a month or less and they say that they really can't afford it, you don't want to follow up with those people. That doesn't make any sense to follow up with those people. $40 a month or less, it's probably not going to stay on the books anyway. Okay? Ask those people for referrals. Ask everybody for referrals as well. But also another reason to not follow up, they can't qualify for anything. Say that they're 82 and they have dementia, and you don't offer any guaranteed acceptance programs or programs that accept dementia for people over 80. I mean, you're not going to follow up with that person. Plain and simple. They're probably not even going to remember that you called. Also, if they're in like assisted living and nursing home, you can sell them a policy, but make sure that they're like there. They're mentally there, okay? It may be, I mean, you know, it may be worth talking to a nurse or something too. If someone has a mental impairment, you definitely want to get a family member on the phone. Alzheimer's, dementia, something like that. don't, like, also, I wouldn't really follow up with someone if they have like a ton of insurance that they've had for, like, if someone has like $100,000 whole life that they've had for a long time, and it doesn't, like, there's nothing that we can, and they're old and maybe they're sick and it's crazy expensive to add something new. Like, you can be the judge of that, of whether existing coverage warrants a follow-up or not. But I mean, you know, sometimes people have had large policies for a long time. Like, if someone's 75 and they're sick and they got a $100,000 whole life when they were like 30, does it really make sense to follow up with that person? Probably not. I mean, they're probably not going to buy it. They can't justify it. They have this policy that's super cheap with a ton of coverage. Okay. Also, don't follow up with someone if they tell you to put them on the do not call list. Okay, you're running into rough waters there, which moves on next to our next part of the presentation here, the show, which is finding a good lead vendor. Okay, you want to make sure that you take the time to find a good lead vendor. You want to find someone who is reputable. You want to find someone who will give you samples of leads, maybe like just an example of what they look like, or talk to someone who's worked those leads before and see how they are. You want to find a good lead vendor. You actually want to find more than one, because lead vendors come and go. And also too, like, if you find someone who's good and then they have a rough like week or two of leads, don't switch somewhere else, because it happens. I've generated leads and I know that sometimes they're better than others, and you can't control that. Sometimes you get a bad batch. So for telesales, telemarketing callback leads and live transfers for final expense are the best if you're purchasing leads. Okay, obviously there are companies out there that have inbound phone calls generated from television commercials and like American fronters. Those are obviously the best. So if you can get like an ad from a television commercial or American fronters, those are the best, but they're going to be very expensive. Okay, I'm pretty good at this, so I would call the callback leads. I can call callback leads from Filipino call centers and Pakistani call centers, and have live transfers from Filipino or Pakistani call centers and do very, very well. Okay, the other ones are like almost too easy. It's not, and that's why they cost so much money. Okay, so your cost per acquisition may be higher with those. Make sure that leads are compliant as well. So if you're buying leads from call centers, make sure that they're using opt-in data, meaning the person actually requested that information, because you're going to run into some do not call list issues if you don't make sure that the leads are compliant, and you don't want to get hit with like a $10,000 or $20,000 lawsuit, which is what you'll get for calling someone who's on the do not call list. Okay, I would buy a mix of new and aged leads so that you don't run out of people to call. You know, every week you can buy a certain amount of new leads, and then I would buy, like, you can probably buy a couple hundred aged leads that you can just crank through real quick. And you're going to get, through timing of circumstance, people who haven't purchased yet. Okay? Also, when you get live transfers, so a lot of the call centers, they sell leads, and they also, like, leads where what they do, the call centers, they call people, they say, hey, you requested some information on insurance, there's a new program available in your area for final expenses. We have an agent who can call you back within a couple days. Would you be interested? Yeah, sure. Okay. How much insurance do you want? Who's your beneficiary going to be? Do you use tobacco? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? Something like that. And that all comes on the lead form. Okay. Those are good for telemarketing because they answer the phone. Okay. They answer the phone. And they have a higher shelf life, because if they're answering the phone for some random call center person, they're going to answer it for you too eventually. So that's huge. Live transfers is when they get one of those people and they say, actually, you know what? We have a live agent available right now looking to talk to you. We're going to transfer that person over to you. So then they transfer the person over to you. Those cost more money. Live transfers cost more money, but it's a live person on the phone. So if you can get live transfers for a good price, do it, because you're going to get someone on the phone. All right. Handle them carefully. So what you want to do is just cushion it. It's like when the call comes in, it's like, you want insurance right now? It's like football. So you want to catch it and cradle it. But I would just handle it like this. Hey, how's it going? Or you call, the answer, hey, it's Justin. I'm having a great day. How about you? Oh, I'm good, great. So look, the reason we got connected is, like, at some point in the past you had looked into life insurance or final expense programs, some of the state approved programs maybe, and I'm just here to get you some information on that. Sound fair enough? And if they're like, oh no, I don't want that, then cool, hang up, boom, move to the next. Like, you don't want to get hit with the charge, because a lot of those live transfers, they'll charge you after like 60 seconds or 90 seconds or something. But if they're like, oh yeah, I remember that, and then just keep rolling with it. Follow my telemarketing script presentation from the fact finding on when that happens, okay? I wouldn't even talk about insurance after that for like 5-10 minutes. Just build a relationship, okay? So also to another, so telemarketing callback leads and live transfers are the best for if you're buying leads. However, if you generate your own leads, I have a video in the description. There's a link on how to build and make your own final expense Facebook ads through Facebook, and how to generate them where you can get inbound calls from them. They can be calling your cell phone. You'll get leads that you'll get an email or a text message saying, hey, this person wants life insurance. Like, you get a text message with the name, number, email of the person, all that stuff. So check that out. You can also run campaigns with that. If you're running final expense Facebook leads for telesales, make sure you call them like immediately upon them filling out that lead form. Like, do not give them like even a second if you don't have to. Like, that lead comes in, boom, call it right away. Because time to response is really going to increase your conversions on those final expense Facebook leads. Okay, so do that. Activity is king in final expense telesales. Activity is king. You want to be making hundreds of phone calls a day. You want to have a ton of follow-ups. This is why I recommend buying age leads as well, because if you buy 100 new leads, I mean, hey, if you get a cheap enough vendor, you could probably afford it. But you know, if you can't afford to buy a massive amount of new leads, bottom line, buy some aged leads so that you never run out of people to call. Okay? You have to be frequent before you can be great. Practice, role play. Like, what I mean by that is you have to make a ton of calls. You're gonna go through a ton of presentations. You're gonna kick yourself in the butt for losing some sales. You gotta go through it a bunch of times and practice before you're gonna be really, really good at this. Okay, it's a skill, it's an art. Like I said, if anybody wants to role play, I'll just drop in the chat here, and I'll post my link for my Zoom call. And you can join whenever you want. Okay. So make sure you work a lot. You're going to want to put in a lot of time, a lot of activity to get good at this, to make a ton of money. You can crush it in telesales, but you got to get good. It's harder than face-to-face. So next I'm going to go over equipment. So what equipment should you use in final expense telesales? Well, number one thing I have here is you have to have a CRM or a dialer. CRM stands for Client Relationship Management Tool, I believe. So this is a program that all of your leads can be uploaded into, and you'll be able to talk to your clients. In a CRM is a client relationship management tool, is what I believe it is. This is very, very important for final expense telesales. Now, the reason why it's important is because you can take all the leads that you buy and upload them into this program. You can use it to set appointments. You can use it to call your leads. You can use it to take notes. It increases your excuse me, my nose is just itchy. It increases your productivity like 400%. You can do way more work with a CRM. Yeah, none of them are perfect, but one that I found that works really, really well is VanillaSoft. Okay, VanillaSoft is great. Our whole agency is on it. It's very easy. I would also get a Google Voice number. Okay, you go to voice.google.com and you'll be able to get a Google Voice phone number. It's super easy to set up and use. It's super easy to set up and use, and it's just a separate number that you can use to call out to clients if they're not answering your cell phone and your computer phone. Okay. I believe VanillaSoft is like $100 a month. It's a good investment. You can write it off, and if you make one more sale a month, you're gonna way more than pay for it. Okay, and you will, because of the productivity that it allows you to increase on. You want to get a headset to call through the computer. You do not want to use your AirPods because the battery life is not long enough. What I found, this is a great headset here. This is the one I use. It's a Jabra Evolve or Jabra Evolve 75, I believe. It's like $250, $300. These are the more expensive wireless ones. It's really good though, but for the cheap wired ones, this one works totally fine too. It's a Logitech H390. It's really good. It's like $30. Like, most of our agents start with one of these, and they, I mean, they're great. So Logitech H390. I'm just kind of undoing the cords here for you to see, but that's it. So Logitech H390, that's what it looks like. Nice padding. It's comfortable. You can wear it for a long time. It may start to hurt your ears. Most headsets will, but when you do, you just kind of pull the ear part a little bit forward on your head instead of right here. It'll start to pinch your ears and hurt after like a few hours. So you pull it forward a little bit. Okay. And then this is the Jabra Evolve 75. It's really nice. You flip it up to mute. It's got some noise cancellation, stuff like that. Also, if you're at home, don't worry about like background noise. That's actually like a good thing because it shows that you're a real person. And like, shoot, I would actually just take my phone and put it on or put some like fake background noise or something like that. Because it sounds like you're in like a real, you know, like an office kind of. So also for headsets, that you want to make sure that the connection port is a USB port, not just like a headset jack. Okay, you want to make sure the connection port's a USB port. All right. If you're into, now we're going to move to carriers. Look, I'm not going to do a whole review of carriers here because that will kind of date this, and because they change their underwriting and rates and stuff. But look at. Pick a few telesales friendly carriers. We use American Amicable. That's our favorite one. The reason why that's not going to be dated is because they're a great company. We've been using it for a long time. They're really good with telesales. There's a few other companies that are really good with telesales. Make sure that you're only selling like 3 companies. Okay? You don't want to spread your business too thin. All right? Because chargeback, telesales has a lot more chargebacks than face-to-face. So if you spread your business too thin, what's going to happen is that you are going to you're going to get into trouble with a carrier. You're going to be in a lot of debt and you're not going to want to write them. So if you're consistently writing, if you can write business with only 1 carrier, that's huge. Or 2, that's huge. Because the chargebacks are just going to get eaten up by new business. Okay, new business should be your main focus here. But to minimize chargebacks, we found a few good ways to do that. You want to follow up with your clients frequently. After you make the sale, you want to write them a thank you note and follow up with them and reassure them at the end of the sale that they're doing a really, really good thing. And also make sure that, like, make sure you're getting someone a policy that you know that they can afford, okay? Like if someone says that, you know, $100 a month, they think they can make it, then start with a $70 a month policy. You know, they can always add in the future, and then that's opportunity for an upsell later on. But it's better to, like, advances, you don't get rich off advances, you get rich off people who pay their bills for the whole year, right? So, or for many years. So make sure that you're getting someone a policy that they can afford, okay? Do not try to force someone into a policy. It's unethical too, like, would you want someone doing that to your grandma? No. Bouncing her account so that they can get an advance? No, that's just, it's messed up. So, make sure that you follow up with them, write them letters, mail them things, mail them a brochure, mail them anything, you know, make sure that it has some, in the thank you letters, I always like to write a joke about something that, or something that shows that I was paying attention to them and that I remember our conversation, okay? But be ready for chargebacks, you know, please try to save a piece of your commission in reserve to cover taxes and potential chargebacks. Usually happens about like 6 to 7 months in. Your first year is gonna be a pain in the butt. Okay, it's gonna be a grind. You're gonna have to really push through and be relentless with your activity for your first year. First year is not a time for vacations or breaks. Now, fortunately here at our agency, we have a system that protects against chargeback. So none of our agents here have ever actually felt a chargeback. We provide all the leads, we provide the CRM, we take care of chargebacks for them, we set something up to help against that. We have a way for them to build an agency, we have bonuses, a back office to help support any lost business. So they have all that stuff handled. So really, like, everything that we have, I'm telling you, kind of how to kind of do it on your own, okay? Now, you want to stick to a schedule and stay accountable too. This is huge. So stick to a schedule and stay accountable. In order to maximize productivity, you have to stay accountable to yourself. Like, you got to work. You got to put in the time. If you say that you worked 10 hours, but you only made 50 phone calls, you probably didn't work 10 hours. You want to be shooting for like 250 to 350 phone calls a day. Or like 6 hours of time on the phone talking to clients every day, which would come up. I mean, I would shoot for presentations too, which is like, I would say 6 to 7 presentations a day, 6 to 8 presentations a day. That's going to lead to the sales that you need. So whatever target that you want to set, Like you want to just have a goal, like I'm going to make 300 calls today, or I'm going to have 8 presentations today, or I'm going to have 6 hours of talk time today talking to clients, or I'm going to have 2,500 AP today. I think the dials is the rudiment of that, the rudimentary part of that. So like if you set a dial count, then eventually you're going to get the talk time, you're going to get the AP. And also make sure that you set training time for yourself every day, because this is training. Like I said, reach out to me if you want to train for anything at all. I'll be more than happy to help you with that. Write out a schedule to make sure that you're selling, training, handling any back-end stuff, like handling pending policy issues, organizing your CRM, organizing your office space, and doing anything to support your production capability, okay? I have a whole list, I have some videos and stuff that go over that whole thing, okay? And also talk with other people in the industry who are in final expense telesales and form a network so that you can help and support each other. You'll find Facebook groups. There are plenty of people who want to support each other. You can reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you and support you. Not financially, but however I can, and help with your skills. I do have a whole team that I help and a bunch of people that I help every day. They obviously take priority, but I want to help people here as much as possible. So I hope you got some value out of this. Remember, check the links in the description for how to make Facebook ads, my scripts. I think I have a scheduling video. I'll put that in there if I can find it. Yeah, and just please like, comment, and share this video, and subscribe to my channel if you found some value in it. All right, thank you.